Hi guys, I'm Duncan Armstrong. You are watching Brothers of the Grill, and today we're going to be doing Dino beef ribs, better known as beef short ribs. These are superb for the barbecue. A long cook, admittedly, yes, but put them on. You got to just keep an eye on the barbecue, make sure it's up to temp. But generally speaking, all you got to do is sit back and chill out. You can do a couple of racks, you can do 3 or 4 racks, as many as you can fit on your barbecue. They're so good every time. You know, you got friends round, they're like, what we got for dinner? It's like, well, we got beef ribs. And 9 times out of 10, they'll be like, and you'll see straight away, they've never had them before, don't even know what they look like. And when you slice them up, I mean, admittedly, this is quite a short rack of ribs, but when you slice those up and show them off, they just look awesome. The meat, you know, it shrinks, it rises. You've got a big chunk of meat with a lot of intramuscular fat. Get that rendered down and you're on a winner. Little bit of a smoke ring if you can. Anyway, so let's get to it. I'm going to get some Liam Perry's Worcestershire sauce. Worcester sauce on there. I got my neighbour into barbecuing. He started using this for a binder. And yeah, it works well. I'd never used it until he started doing it. So it just shows you, you know, get your neighbour into barbecuing and he can start teaching you stuff. We're always learning. So what we got here is coarse garlic. This is smoked garlic. I dehydrated it. I have done a video on smoking garlic. Yeah, go and watch it. It's pretty cool. So we're going to get nice coarse garlic on there, spread that over. Then we're going to get a bit of kosher salt. You can't go too wrong with salt on these. You know, you got a big hunk of meat. You know, it's going to take it. Go a little bit more. Then we've got pepper, smoked pepper. So this is an age-old salt, pepper, garlic, SPG, better known as. You can't really go too wrong with the salt on this and pepper. It can take it. It's a big old chunk of meat. So let's just shut that up. We're going to go a little bit more garlic. We might as well use that up. Don't like waste. Don't forget them sides. I nearly did with the garlic. I didn't put it on at first. But you just cannot go wrong with these. I'd say they're one of my favourites. I've got a lot of favourites. Barbecue is my favourite. Okay, so that's that. We'll let that bad boy chill out there for a minute. Start mixing in with its new content. You may notice that I didn't put any rub or any of the seasonings on the underneath. That's because it's got a huge set of bones under there with the membrane underneath, and you're just not going to get any flavour from that. So it doesn't matter. It's a waste to put it under there, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, we're going to be cooking it on the Weber Summit today, offset of the coals. We've got, basically I've got Kamado Joe, lumpwood charcoal. I've also got a couple, I used like 5 briquettes, Weber briquettes, just to get those coals going. Nice big lumps of cherry wood, and we're away. Look at that, you just can't beat that. I sliced all the fat off the top. That's the set of bones. You know, you're not getting any flavour through that, so there's no point. Okay guys, so with a cook like this, I'm doing offset. We're going to have the ribs this side, heat sauce that side. We've just got some briquettes that I've just fired up and started. We'll get them in there, they'll help get that going now. Got a nice couple of lumps of cherry. As I say, it's offset from where we're going to be cooking. I'm not going to use the deflector plate. I'm just going to have a big drip tray here, so that'll act as my deflector plate. So we'll let that get going. the fattest part of this rack of ribs I'm going to have facing the heat source. All we can do now is wait. Okay guys, so we're going to let that run for 3 hours now, let it get a good bit of that smoke, and we'll check in on it and we'll see you in 3 hours. Okay, so it's been 3 hours now. Let's have a look. Oh yes, that's looking good. We've got a nice bit of shrinkage on the bone there. It's, oh yeah, that's perfect. Let me just show you. So now we'll leave them wrapped. Okay guys, let me tell you something. This garden is smelling gorgeous. Already had the neighbour come up earlier and he was like, what are you cooking today? And I flipped it up, showed him, and he's just like, oh. So I told him about the YouTube and he's like, oh, okay, so now I've got to watch it as well as smell it. Great. Okay, so we've been in for 3 hours, put it on this morning, 3 hours at 150 degrees Celsius, 300 degrees Fahrenheit, offset of the coals. Didn't baste it, didn't do anything to it, just left it in there for 3 hours. Opened it up, it was looking great. You know, it was touch tender, it was lovely, it was looking good. Anyway, so what we did then was we wrapped it in tin foil. I didn't put anything in there. You can put beef stock or stuff like that, you know, it does help. Okay, so with that being said, we'll have a look, see where we're at. So we're just a tad over 150 Celsius, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It doesn't matter. You know, when you wrap it, you're wrapping it to render down those fats. I mean, these beef ribs have a lot of intramuscular fat. So to render that down is what you need to do. It's where you need to be. So let's have a look. I'm not really going for temp. I'm not going to any particular temp. I never do with these. I used to when I first started doing barbecue. So let's just test. That there's just no resistance there. Once you get through that tin foil, they're ready now. I'm happy with that. I'm going to take these off, let them rest for 20 minutes, half hour. You can let them rest for an hour. You can let them rest for 2 hours. You know, some people put them in a cooler, a bit like a brisket, wrapped up in a towel. But I'm happy to just let these sit on the side in the tin foil for 20 minutes, half hour, and then we'll slice them up and see what they're like. See you in a half hour. Right guys, so here we are. As I say, it's not a huge rack of beef ribs, but it just gives you a nice, you know, a nice opportunity to see what they're all about. It's up to you. If you're just doing for your family, these are do, you know, slice it up, make some rolls, or as I say, slice the ribs and just eat them as they are. You can't go wrong. We've been resting about half hour. Like I say, an hour, hour and a half is good. See a little bit of steam coming up, but it's all good. I'm hungry. I want to eat. So here we go. Oh yes, super tender. I can feel that already. So let's get this on. Slice each bone. Oh mate, that is just like butter. Honestly. Next bone. My mouth's watering already. Okay, so if you was to serve these up as they are, just look at that. I mean, what's not to love about that? I'm not going to do the squeeze test. You can see how juicy that is. Just absolutely mouth-watering beef right there. You just cannot go wrong with that. So let's just recap. We used Kamado Joe Big K charcoal, lumpwood charcoal. We went for 3 hours at 150 degrees Celsius, unwrapped. We just put salt, pepper, garlic on that, nothing else. Then we wrapped it for another 3 hours at the same temperature, 150 degrees Celsius, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like melting your mouth. I mean, look at it. There is absolutely no resistance whatsoever in any of that. That is beef goodness that people are going to love. They're going to be like, beef ribs? I've never heard of them. I want some more. That is great. Just pure beef. It's all you can say about that. Just pure beef. Salt, pepper, garlic. Does not overpower it. That is what it's all about. It's like I said, when we was putting the salt and pepper and garlic on, you can't really go too much with the salt. You just can't go wrong with that. Serve that up at your next barbecue and you'll have the neighbours coming round for some as well as your mates. So if you like this video, please give it a like and a share. Don't forget to subscribe and I'll catch you in the next video, guys. I need to get eating this. I'm sorry, but I'm hungry and it's dinner time. 6 hours. 6 hours I've been waiting for this. It's been in that garden smelling. Oh, cheers, guys.